Good morning, folks. The real Captain Kirk here, live from Weather Trends 360 studio here in Bethlehem, Pennsylvania. It is Tuesday morning, 18th of June. If you thought this second week here in June was on the cool side, it was, certainly for the nation as a whole. The 9 through 16 June period leading up to Father's Day weekend here was the coolest in actually 24 years nationally. So we went from 4 pretty hot Junes, second week of Junes in a row here, and this one made a wholesale change. So again, I have to go back to like 95 to see a June quite this cold. Maps on the left, bottom left there show again the temperature trends for that 9 through 16 period. So cool and wet was the theme. Unfortunately, Father's Day, the day on Sunday itself, was actually the coolest in 15 years for Father's Day Sunday nationally. Again, wholesale change from the last 4 Father's Days. And unfortunately, again, that same old trend, wettest in 30 plus years nationally. If we look at the trends actually this spring, April, May, June, again, we started off really well in April. 3 through 26 April was actually the third warmest in 30 years going into that Easter holiday. 6 degrees warmer than last year, so that was just phenomenal for seasonal merchandise sales. We'll show you these power of 1 degrees again that we do for our big Fortune 500 clients, but every degree hotter as an example, there's about a 3% increase in spring apparel sales, so we'd have about 18-20% gains with that April heat. And then flip-flop pattern just since 27 April to date, the coolest in 14 years nationally. Every single, these bars show year-over-year trends from last year, so every single day pretty much, other than a couple days here, have trended colder than last year nationally, 4.8 degrees colder. So just remember that number here, and we'll show you what that means in terms of seasonal sales here. Again, this is just how we've quantified the influence of weather on things we buy every day. So again, every degree hotter in the spring, we buy about 3% more shoes, sandals, shorts, about 1 or 2% more beer and beverages, 15% increase for air conditioners. So if it's a degree hotter, you get about a 15% increase in AC sales. Unfortunately, again, we're talking about 5 degrees colder, so the downside is just as bad. So 5 degrees colder times 3% is about a 15% decline in apparel sales here, and maybe a 4 or 5% decline in beverage sales, and huge downward trends in those hot AC categories. In fact, if we look at these hot days, hot 90-degree days here to date, 38% below last year. So last year was the second hottest in some 30 years in terms of 90-degree days across the country. This year, the fewest in 4 years. Just a tad below average again, but a 38% drop. So things like AC and fans certainly are not selling that well here this year across the country. May get some relief here next week. If we look at the this week pattern, 18 through 24, so this is again Tuesday to Monday next week. Same old deal here, coolest in 15 years nationally. The big change is in the Northwest. We're finally seeing that heat go to the cool pattern. But nationally, coolest in 15 years, 4th coldest in 30 years. And again, let's just keep repeating it here, wettest in 30 years nationally, with more rain where we don't need it, unfortunately. We can, in part, thank El Nino, negative AMO, and just when you're wet, you tend to get wetter. Moisture evaporates with the sun, and you just keep getting wet. If we jump ahead here to next week, which takes us through the last week of June into the 1st of July, again, cooler than last year, but not as bad. This may be a bit overdone. Again, so very cool in the Northwest, Pacific Northwest, Rockies. In fact, we're going to see some snow out there in the high elevations above 9,000 feet. Tad unusual, maybe this late in the season. East Coast might be a bit overdone. GFS is definitely warmer than the Euro as of late. Euro's probably too cold, and GFS is probably too warm. So split the difference, and again, but definitely seeing a warming trend in the central U.S. and the East Coast. And again, unfortunately, number 1 wettest in 30 years. Thought we'd talk a bit about Father's Day weekend here. The little one is a huge fan on Facebook, so we always throw her in there every now and then. In fact, more recently as of late, but took the troops to Kalahari. Again, the little one, her favorite thing on earth is water and flags, as you can tell from her stickers on her shoes and her shirt and every other place she could find it. So took the troops up to Kalahari in the Poconos. If you haven't been there, it's one of the biggest water parks in the country. Just a phenomenal place. Again, the little one just loves it. We do our push-ups in the water and watch the waves and do the slides. So again, anything and everything water is awesome with the little Angelina Kirk. Flags. She is possessed with flags. She just loves anything American flag. We count them in the car. We draw them on the deck. So I have a hysterical video here of her. Recently, she's been actually practicing her Star Spangled Banner. Again, why she has to pick the hardest song in the world to learn at 3 years old, but she's doing a great job. Again, you name a flag, she's got the balls, the shirts, the shorts, you name it, she's got it. So here she's been practicing, and then I'll shut up here for just a minute so you can listen to her in the car on the way to the Poconos to sing the Star Spangled Banner for you. So she's getting ready for 4th of July. So here she goes with her debut. So with that, folks, we hope you have a great week, and we will be back here on time next week around Monday. So with that, again, have a great week, and we will talk to you soon.